Hello everyone, my name's Sophie Cowan and I'm founder of Switchit. It's very hot outside today, wasn't it? Anyway, you might look at these pictures and think you're coming to another doom and gloom talk about climate change. Wildfires, starving polar bears. Well, I'm not going to tell you about these pictures this evening because I'm pretty sure everyone in this room understands that we're in dire straits. But what I will tell you is that big oil companies have extraction plans that are identified, put in place, and are waiting to be financed, that if realized, would exceed global climate targets by 3 times. So if there's 2 things to take away from this presentation tonight, the first would be that the climate emergency is way more urgent than we might believe, and that we can do something that's way more impactful than we might have thought. And the answer is in your pockets. Let me explain. Switchit is a simple, effective tool for climate action. We are here to support thousands of people to use the power of their money to move markets, to shift and make the change that we really need. A little Genesis story first. How did Switchit come to be? Well, I spent the first few years of my working life in London in the shiny Soho advertising land. A few years in, the glitter wore off slightly and I realized that the world was burning up. Perhaps something that many of us may have experienced as well, that kind of progressive realization. You may remember in 2019, if you were in London or perhaps looking at the media, that a pink boat popped up in Oxford Circus. Waterloo Bridge was covered in trees and thousands of people came together in civil resistance at the government's inaction on climate change. A few months earlier, I'd met a small group of people planning on doing something big. I set up and ran the media team for Extinction Rebellion, and together we launched the movement onto the global stage, pushing the climate change emergency into global consciousness and leading to governments worldwide declaring a climate emergency. So, naturally, amongst my friends and family, I became the activist, anyway, and the go-to for conversations about environment and climate. They'd say, I get it now. Climate change is big. What can I do? So I said, well, get out on the streets. Glue yourself to a road. Maybe smash some bank windows. Direct action works. It has a history of success. Let's get on with it. No, thanks, they said. There wasn't much uptake. So I realized that people, certain people, many people, really wanted to take impactful action, but that direct action wasn't for everyone. But we needed something impactful, perhaps a little bit less radical. It was around that time that I met my co-founder, Anna, who's based in the States, and together we found the answer: financial markets. Follow the money. Money makes the world go round, etc., etc. We've heard, I think, many of those phrases before. But perhaps we haven't heard the fact that in fighting climate change, it's 21 times more effective to move your money than it is to go vegan, quit flying, and using public transport for a whole year. Enter Switchit. People can have a hugely positive impact with the choices they make with their money, but perhaps they just don't know. Only 1 in 5 HSBC and Barclays customers are aware that their banks are funding fossil fuels in their name. Switch It makes the action simple. It overcomes the barriers that inhibit many customers from moving their money across financial institutions. It provides full information, it makes it easy to do, and it's simple and effective to track the impact. And fundamentally, it's a clear call to action, because in a world where we're potentially overwhelmed with choices of climate action, but many people really want to do a good thing, we need something that's a clear and simple call to action that's perhaps a little bit more impactful than buying a bamboo toothbrush. So, on switchit.green, you can find out if your bank, energy provider, or pension provider is funding and supporting the fossil fuel industry. And by signing up, you can take part in the action to switch it out. A user dashboard is created, key actions are laid out simply, and the switch is really, really easy. Tips and tricks, resources, supportive help along the way. Our business model is based on commission from the recommended providers that people switch to, and financial advisors that we refer people to. And we're beginning to roll out programs with businesses and universities in order to, they will be with a fee, as per the business model, but in order to maximize the participation, in order to maximize the impact. Switch It is a business that could create much better business. With the revenue that we bring in, we can amplify our message and rocket the impact. So what is the impact? Well, so far, we've supported hundreds of people to switch £450 million worth of lifetime deposits out of fossil fuels into greener providers. Our aim is to support hundreds of thousands of people to shift billions of pounds out of planet-harming institutions into those building a better future. We know that consumer action, consumer choices, will shape markets if targeted effectively. Our users' actions at scale will put financial institutions under pressure to shift their policies towards those that will create a more livable future. The more people that have access to the tool, the higher that impact will be. And the market. When presented with the fact that their money is funding fossil fuels, 18% of the UK population said they would switch their bank in the next year. That's 2.4 million people. Ooh, I didn't switch that, but it's the last slide. So we have a massive opportunity in this room to support people, hundreds of people, thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, to take one simple action that will move markets to deliver a more livable future. So my ask here this evening is whether you consider yourself an investor, an ambassador, a marketeer, an interested party. Perhaps your business would be interested in getting involved. Perhaps you're part of a university. Perhaps you're just a human with a bank account. I'm inviting you to get involved. There are three key things that we need at this point. The first, resources and or connections for a really banging marketing lead, please. Second of all, resources and or contacts for a tech dev to ensure that the tool is of high conversion rate. And thirdly, for this evening, my ask is that everyone in this room has a go at maximizing their climate impact by 21 times. by going on to switchit.green, finding out if your money is supporting fossil fuels, and signing up to take action to change things towards a more livable future. You don't have to change your life to change the world. Switch it. Thank you.